welcome to our podcast.
Yeah, welcome. We are so excited.
Currently we are filming for both YouTube and the podcast app.
So hello, YouTube family.
And hello to our new family on the podcast app. We want to have our mom come in and say a quick little hi, Mentor Mama.
Mentor Mama is a huge role on our channel, so we want her to say hey.
Excited to see you all.
And we all want to introduce ourselves as well. I'm Ashley, and
I'm Taylor.
I am 21 years old.
Okay, it sounds like I'm saying I'm 21 years old. Ashley is 21 years old.
We're still getting new to this.
Yeah,
Getting
Ashley.
used to this, not new to this. I'm so nervous.
I'm Taylor, and I am 19 years old. And Mentor Mama's age we don't disclose.
That's right.
What did we want to say? We wanted to say a fun fact about ourselves.
I'll say a fun fact about me. This is Taylor. As a kid, I used to make podcasts by myself alone in my room. Just for fun. I didn't even know that it's what it was. I didn't know it was called a podcast. I just did it for fun, stories that I told, and it's still on our computers today.
And they're about squirrels.
Oh.
Yeah, they're about squirrels. Mentor Mama, do you have a fun fact?
I think my fun fact is that when I was growing up, I really wanted to be a coroner, which is like
You're kidding me.
Which is a what?
there used to be a TV show on years ago, and it was about this medical examiner. So I absolutely wanted to do that. But then I think later, when I realized what they actually did. Oh, no.
That's just bad. Okay, that was a good one. What about
I don't
you?
even know what a coroner is.
A coroner is somebody who does all the dead body things.
Ew, I can't believe you wanted to be that. Okay, so a fun fact about me, my feet burn at night.
Oh,
They burn. It's like I need to dump them in an ice bucket of water, but I'm always too lazy to get out of bed.
well, that's okay. Thank you for that fact.
Was that a bad fun fact?
No, that was good.
We also wanted to say why we're here. Me and Taylor have a YouTube channel called Coffee and Bible Time, and me, Taylor, and my mom started this ministry on YouTube, and it has expanded. It has grown thanks to the Lord. And so if you haven't heard about Coffee and Bible Time, go check us out on YouTube. We are excited about the podcast. We're excited about prayer journals that are coming soon. We have a website. We have blogs. We one day hopefully are going to start speaking at different events down the line. So we hope and continue that it'll just keep growing, but that is who we are.
Yeehaw. Okay, so thank you for joining us, Mentor Mama. You can go back to your life. We needed to make sure she was here for the intro. Okay, so here's today's podcast. It is going to be about the new year. It's about your New Year's resolutions. It's about your hopes. It's about your dreams. It's about your goals that you never really fulfill. But we're going to talk about it. So we titled it New Year, New Me. Go ahead, Ash.
Yeah, so we thought it was applicable because it's the new year and everyone does New Year's resolutions. And so why not talk about it? Tell you guys what our New Year's resolutions are. Tell you if we're anti-New Year's resolution, which I am not. Taylor thinks I am.
Okay, well, here's how it started. At the end of last year, 2019, I was really going through my values. I was thinking to myself, I should really just write down my values, my top 10 values that I have in my life, and then from there kind of look to see where I want my New Year's resolutions to fit into that. And so then I just decided, you know what, I'm going to have Ashley do it. I'm going to have Mentor Mama do it so that we can all kind of figure out what our values are and what we want to do about that come the new year. So we thought, we would tell you guys our top values. I'll say my first top 2 values was number 1, faith. That's my top value, number 1. And my number 2 would be love. And I also had, Fitness was one of them on there. Health was another one. Another one was, peace. I like peace. Like, there's just so many different values that I had. But I felt like love encompassed a lot of those, including family. Family was a big one. What about you?
Well, and also we found these values. Our counselor gave us a sheet of values and actually recommended that we look through them and find the top ones. So that's where we're getting these values from. It was nice to look through a list of different values because a lot of them I didn't even realize I had until I read the list. Maybe we can put up a list on a blog post.
Yeah, we'll put it on like a blog post. But one of them that I thought was interesting, Ashley, say yours.
So my values were, and these values are just things that like you value in everyday life. None of them are bad. They're all good things. And everyone just has different ones because we're all created differently. But my number one was faith. My second one was love and family. My third one was home. And my fourth, learning. Fifth, creativity. And sixth, growth. And I put all those on there because I really do love them all. And I just couldn't put it into a top three.
Absolutely. But for me, coming off of that, I wanted to make sure that my New Year's resolutions fit into those. Because if I'm having a New Year's resolution, I want them to go towards my values. And one of them for love for me, I split into another category, love for myself and then love for others, because I think it goes both ways. And for love for myself, one of the things that I put on there, like for instance, something that makes me feel better is when I have more self-care, like taking baths, when I read. And then also another thing that I put under my faith category, this is just getting random now, but for my faith category, I actually gave myself a pretty huge challenge this year, which was to have an intentional year of no YouTube.
And no social media.
And no social media.
Which is big.
It's big. And you know what? In the past years, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to this, social media, but especially YouTube for me, just sucked up so much of my time. And in the moment, it was so gratifying because you felt so connected to the world. You were getting so much ideas towards yourself, for yourself, and you just felt so like good when you watch YouTube. It's like, I don't know, but then when you're done watching YouTube, you're like, wow, there's 3 hours of my life down the drain. Do I feel closer to God after watching YouTube? No, that's not bringing me towards
scrolling Instagram, Facebook, any of those things.
Exactly. And when you take a look back at those behaviors, kind of ask yourself, are these aligning with my values? Are they bringing me towards my values? Because to an extent, watching YouTube and going on Instagram for hours and hours wasn't leading me towards loving myself, loving others, and it wasn't having me grow in my relationship with Christ. So under my New Year's resolutions, I said, you know what? To heck with it. I'm going to do an intentional year of no YouTube and social media.
I just realized at the beginning of this podcast, we never said what this podcast was going to be about.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, don't worry.
Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Taylor, I am so happy you said that because that was beautiful. And I 100% agree that we should all realize, what do we value in life? What do we want to value? And if that's family, if that's faith, if that's becoming more healthy, if that's home, learning, whatever it is you value, think about what takes up your time and ask yourself, is this going towards my values? And ultimately, if you're a Christian, if you're a believer, your values should be glorifying to God.
Absolutely.
And so at the end of the day, what you value should be biblical. It should be God honoring and in the path of following Him. And then once you make your New Year's resolutions off of that, off of following Christ, off of valuing things that Christ would have valued, it's amazing. And you realize all the things in your day that you could turn around and really just give back to the Lord.
And there's almost this overwhelming feeling that everyone gets towards the end of the year of just slight disappointment in how their time was managed. And I feel like that's why a lot of people, when they see the opportunity of the new year and making new resolutions, they just think to themselves, okay, this is going to be my moment. this year I'm going to manage my time. I'm going to have these goals. But they never actually ask themselves, what are my values? Because everybody has values, whether or not you recognize them and whether or not you make goals surrounding them. But to recognize your values helps you to actually hone in on what New Year's resolutions and or goals are going to fill your cup and glorify God.
Yeah. Yep. I totally agree. So for mine, my number one New Year's resolution. Ashley, sorry. Oh my gosh, I forgot. We literally have the same voice. So we need to differentiate that. For me, Ashley, one of my number one values is faith and following Jesus. And so that was actually for me this year the only thing I focused my New Year's resolution on. Because in years past, I've done like lose weight, eat healthy, work out. And you know what? This year I was like, I really just want to do faith-centered resolutions. But less than 20% of people end up doing their New Year's resolution the entire year. Majority of people fall off after a month. And that is why I told Taylor, I was like, I just don't know how I feel about New Year's resolutions. Like, we say we want to be these better people, but it never ends up happening. Now, my number one value is faith, and I was just recognizing that if I'm going to make Bible reading New Year's resolutions, if I'm going to make prayer New Year's resolutions, if I'm going to make these New Year's resolutions that will help me grow in my faith, I can't do it on my own. I really can't. And I can say I want to do better, but it's never going to change. My heart is never going to change unless I give it over to the Lord in prayer and tell God how much I need him. And really just say, like, God, I want my heart to change. I want to be better at prayer because I am terrible at prayer. I want it. I want to do better, God, but I know I am going to fall off in a month if I'm going to do this in my own strength. And so God, help me do better. And that's why we created the Bible study video recently. This New Year's resolution can change my life. It's on our YouTube channel. If you just go look at our Bible study videos. And that's why I created it, because what I emphasized in that video is that, one, we need to be in prayer, asking God for help. And I actually have the sheet right here. I wrote down, we need to be in prayer. It starts with prayer. We need God to be the one who gives us the desire for his word, who gives us a desire to pray. And two, it is only through God's work of changing our heart that will incline us to him. Now, there's more points to that, but you guys can go watch that video if you would like. But yeah, so that's what my New Year's resolution mainly revolved around this year, was just saying, God, I need you. So
yeah, and you know what? I want to say I'm shocked that the statistics are so low, but I kind of feel, I feel like I can relate. I can't even remember my last year's New Year's resolutions. I don't even know if I had a faith one in there. Usually every year I tell myself I want to read books.
And you read a lot of books last year.
I completed my goal. Last year I said I wanted to read 7 books. I'm not a big reader, but there is some value to it. Actually, one of my camp counselors, actually the camp leader for that session, was talking about, after going to Bible college, the one thing he would recommend to us is to start reading even if you don't like it. To pick up every Christian book you can get, read the Bible, because that's how you get knowledge, and you can't expect to grow if you aren't reading, sadly, for those of us that don't like to read. I mean, granted, there's podcasts, there's YouTube, there's audiobooks, but there is something about reading and having it stick in your brain.
What time are we at?
That's a really great question. I'm
Can
not
you see
sure.
it in there?
No, you can't really see it in there, unfortunately.
This is us being a new podcaster. We don't know what we're doing.
Can you tell we don't really know what we're doing? I mean, do we want to close it out? Do we feel like we have any encouragement to them?
Yeah, I mean, my encouragement for you guys would be to really think about what you value in life. Like, what is your time going towards? I would suggest making a time chart of what you do in your day. I remember we did that in retreats going up, where where we would write down in the last week what we did, what filled up our time every day. Like you need to include eating in there, sleeping, community, what are you doing, like time you're spending with your family, working, going to the bathroom. Just kidding, I don't know. But sometimes it takes a while. But anywho, what I'm trying to say is make a list of what you spend your time doing, figure out what you value, what do you want to be valuing, and then go towards your New Year's resolutions, and then from there, make goals. Because if we don't make goals about our New Year's resolutions, and honey boo boo, let me tell you, you need to wrap all this around in prayer. You got to start it with prayer, you got to finish it with prayer, you got to pray during it, because we cannot change on our own. We have hard, stubborn hearts. And yeah, I'm just saying that I need God to help me. And when you come to a place where you realize you can't do it on your own, turn to Him. And I hope that this podcast will help you see that too. It's helping me see that too. Even today, I got mad at my sister. I was really angry. And I just realized again how much I need God to change my heart, because my heart is really ugly. So I'm thankful that Jesus gives us grace and that we get opportunities to start fresh every moment. So,
Amen. Very relatable.
do you have any encouragement?
My encouragement would be to look up a list of values. There are many online websites that will tell you, if you just look up list of values or values, you're going to get a truckload of them. And there's so many that you don't even realize are values or are things that you value in your life. For instance, one of the things on the sheet that kind of struck me when I read it was beauty. Beauty as a value. And when I read that, my initial thought was like, oh, that's so superficial.
So vain.
The Bible, talks about how all these women do so much for their looks and it's just meaningless. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like when I saw beauty on there, I was like, I would never put that down as a value. But I'm like, but we all in a way care about the way we look. We spend time doing our hair. We spend time doing our makeup. We spend time getting beautified.
Yeah. And you know what? To an extent, it's fun. That could also go down as, self-care if you want to do your nails one day or, pluck your eyebrows. But to a degree, you have to remember that your values are ranked, which is something we didn't really talk about. But what we did was we put our number 1 value all the way down to our 10 value. You rank them. So beauty wouldn't be your number 1, but it's up there in the top 20.
And someone could have beauty as their number 1, but it's not something that will 100% fulfill you. Might make you feel good in the moment, but what about when you wake up in the morning and you look like Fiona from Shrek? So, let me tell you that I do that every morning.
I look down at my feet and think I'm Fiona.
I just look at Fiona and say, look, she got a man. He loved her for her heart, for who she was. I'm okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Except you're not going to blow up frogs like balloons and... And what did they roast over the fire?
Rats or like mice or something.
No.
And I'm just like, okay, I'm
And
glad
they
I have
loved
weird...
it.
They loved it. And you know what? I'm going to find someone with weird qualities one day too. And
Please not that, though.
Okay, but I'm just saying I could not be with someone who's normal because they would think I'm nuts.
Yeah, when I was just thinking of that, I'm thinking of our grandpa who was just telling us stories about how he shot squirrels in his backyard and and fried them up for dinner.
That's our genetics, folks. That is our genetics.
Oh, maybe I'll make the next podcast on my 23andMe results.
Yeah, and I want to do a podcast on our Enneagrams.
Ooh.
And Enneagram. So, yeah, I think that's good for this podcast.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Share this podcast with your friends if you like it. We're hoping that if you guys like this, we're going to continue to do it. But we got to see if you guys like it. We don't know if you want this.
Right. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you in our next podcast.
Bye, guys. Love you. Talk now.
Testing.